The Book of the Secrets, a new commentary. Discourse number 29, given in Bombay, India.
Man is born alone, dies alone, but just in between these 2 points, he lives in the society, lives with others. Aloneness is his basic reality. Society is just accidental. And unless man can live alone, know his aloneness in its total depth, he cannot be acquainted with himself. All that happens in society is just outer. It is not you. It is just your relations with others. You remain unknown. Nothing can reveal you from the outside. But we live with others. Because of this, self-knowledge is completely forgotten. You know about yourself something, not directly. It is said to you by others. And this is strange, absurd, that others should tell you about yourself. Whatsoever identity you carry is given to you by others. It is not real. It is just a labeling. A name is given to you. That name is given as a label because it will be difficult for the society to be related with a nameless person. Not only the name is given, the very image that you think yourself is given by the society, that you are good, that you are bad, that you are beautiful, that you are intelligent, that you are moral, a saint, or whatsoever. The image, the form is also given by society. But you don't know who you are. Neither your name reveals anything, nor the form that society has given to you. You remain to yourself unknown. This is the basic anxiety. You are there, unknown to yourself. This unknownness towards oneself is the ignorance. And this ignorance cannot be destroyed by any knowledge which others can give to you. They can say to you that you are not this name, you are not this form, you are soul eternal. But that too is given by others. That too is not immediate. Unless you come to yourself directly, you will remain in ignorance. And ignorance creates anxiety. You are not afraid of others only, you are afraid of yourself. Because you don't know who you are and what is hidden in you, what is possible. Next moment what will erupt out of you. You don't know. You go on trembling. Life becomes a deep anxiety. There are many problems which create anxiety, but those problems are secondary. If you penetrate deeply, then every problem ultimately will reveal that the basic anxiety, the basic anguish is that you are ignorant of yourself, of the source from where you come, of the end where you are moving, of the being who you are right now. Hence, every religion says to move into solitude, into aloneness, so that you can leave society for a time being, and all that society has given to you, and you can face yourself directly. Mahavir lived for 12 years alone in the forest. He will not speak in those days, because the moment you speak, you have moved into society. Language is society. He remained completely silent. He will not speak. So the basic bridge has been cut. He will be alone. When you don't speak, you are alone, deeply alone. Then there is no way to move to the other. For 12 long years, he lived alone without speaking. What he was doing? He was trying to find out who he is. And it is better to put all the labels. It is better to move from others, so that there is no need for the social image. He was destroying the social image. He was throwing away all the garbage that the society has given. He was trying to be totally naked, without any name, without any form. That is what Mahavir's nakedness means. It was not just throwing away the clothes. It was deeper. It was this nudity of being totally alone. Because clothes are also you are using for the society. They are to hide your body, or they are to cover the eyes of others. Because society doesn't approve your whole body. So whatsoever society doesn't approve, you have to hide it. Only particular parts of the body are allowed to be in open. The society chooses you in parts. Your totality is not approved, not accepted. The same is happening with the mind also, not only with body. Your face is approved, your hands are approved, but your whole body is not approved. Particularly, the body that can give any hint of sex is disapproved, not accepted. Hence, so much importance of clothes. And this is happening with mind also. Your total mind is not accepted. Only parts of it. So you have to hide the mind and suppress it. You cannot open your mind. You cannot open your mind to your deepest friend, because he will also judge. He will say, this is what you think? This is what goes on in your mind? So you have to give him only that which can be accepted, a very minute part, and all else that is in you has to be hidden completely. That hidden part creates many diseases. The whole psychoanalysis of Freud consists only of bringing the hidden out. It takes years. And the person is healed. And the psychoanalyst is not doing anything. He is simply bringing the suppressed out. Just to bring it out becomes a healing force. What does it mean? It means the suppressed is the illness. It is a burden, heavy burden. You want it to confess to someone. You want it to tell, to express. You want that someone should accept you in totality. And that is what love means. And you will not be rejected, whatsoever you are. Good, bad, saintly, sinner. Someone will accept you in your totalness. He will not reject any part of you. That's why love is the greatest healing force. That is the oldest psychoanalysis. Whenever you love a person, you are open to him. And just by being open, your cut, divided parts are brought together, you become one. But even love has become impossible. Even with your wife, you cannot tell the truth. Even with your lover, you cannot be totally authentic. Because even his or her eyes are judging. He or she also wants an image to be followed, an ideal. Your reality is not important. The ideal is important. You know that if you express your totality, you will be rejected. You will not be loved. You are afraid. And because of this fear, love becomes impossible. Psychoanalysis brings the hidden part out. And the psychoanalyst is not doing anything, he is simply sitting there, listening to you. No one has listened to you, it seems. That's why you need now a professional help. No one is ready to listen to you. No one has the time. No one is so much interested in you. Professional need has come into being. Someone you are paying to listen. And then year in, year out, he will listen to you every day or twice a week or thrice a week. And you will be healed. This is miraculous. Why you should be healed just by listening? Someone pays attention to you without any judgment. You can tell anything that is in you. And just by telling it comes up and becomes a part of the conscious. When you cut something, deny something, prohibit something, suppress something, you are creating a division between the conscious and the unconscious, the accepted and the rejected. This division has to be thrown. So Mahavir moves into loneliness so that he can be as he is, and no fear of anybody. He is not to show some face to anybody, so he can throw all the masks, all the faces, and he will be alone, totally naked as he is, under the skies, under the stars, before the river and in the forest. No one will judge him, and no one will say, you are not allowed to be like this, you should behave, you should be like this. Leaving society means leaving that situation where suppression has become inevitable. So nudity means to be as one is, with no barriers, no withholding. Mahavir moved into silence, into loneliness, and he said, unless I find myself, not the self that others have given to me, that is false, but the self that I am born with, I will not return to society. Unless I know who am I will not return to society. Unless I have come directly face to face with my reality, unless I have encountered the essential in me, not the accidental, I will not speak, because it is useless to speak. You are the accidental. Whatsoever you think you are is the accidental part. For example, you are born in India. You could have been born in England, or in France, or in Japan. That is accidental part. But just being born in India, you have a different type of identity. You are a Hindu. You think yourself a Hindu. You would have thought yourself a Buddhist in Japan, and a Christian in England, and a communist in Russia. Because you have not done anything to be a Hindu. It is just accident. So wherever you were, you would have joined yourself with the situation. You think yourself religious, your religion is just accidental. If you were born in a communist country, you would not have been religious. You would have been as irreligious as you are religious here. You are born into a Jain family. You don't believe in God. Not that you have discovered that there is no God. And just by the side of your house, another child is born on the same day, but he is a Hindu. He believes in God and you don't believe in God. This is accidental. This is not essential. It depends on circumstances. You speak Hindi, someone speaks Gujarati, someone speaks French. These are accidents. Language is accidental. Silence is essential. Language is accidental. Your soul is essential. Your self is accidental. And to find the essential is the search, the only search. How to find the essential? Buddha also moves in silence for 6 years. Jesus moves into deep forest. His followers want to come with him, the apostles. They follow him. Then at a point he says, stop. You should not come with me. Now I must be alone with my God. He moves into wilderness. When he comes back, he is totally a different man. He has faced himself. Loneliness becomes the mirror. society is a deception. That's why you are always afraid of being alone. Because you will have to know yourself. And you will have to know yourself in your nudity, in your nakedness. You are afraid. To be alone is difficult. Whenever you are alone, immediately you start doing something so that you are not alone. You may start reading a newspaper, or you may put on the TV, or you may go to some club to meet some friend, to visit some family, but you must do something. Why? Because the moment you are alone, your identity melts. All that you know about yourself becomes false. And all that is real starts bubbling up. All religions say that man must move into solitariness to know himself. One need not be there forever. That's futile. But one has to be in solitude for a time, for a period. And the period will depend on each individual. How long? Muhammad was in solitude, Jesus was, Mahavir, Buddha, everyone. But it depends. Mahavir was for 12 years and Buddha was only for 6 years. And Jesus was only for a few days and Muhammad was only for a few months. It depends. But unless you come to the point where you can say, now I have known the essential, it is a must to be alone. This technique is concerned with loneliness. First technique, abide in some place, endlessly spacious, clear of trees, hills, habitations, thence comes the end of mind pleasures. So before we enter this technique, few other points about loneliness must be understood. One, to be alone is basic, foundational. That's how your being is. In the mother's womb, you are alone. Totally alone. And psychologists say that this hankering for nirvana, for enlightenment, for salvation, for paradise, is really a deep imprinted memory of the experience of mother's womb. You have known it, the total aloneness and the bliss of it. You were alone. You were God. No one else was there. No one disturbed you. No one interfered. Alone, you were the master, with no conflict. The peace was intrinsic. Silence was there. No language. You were deep in yourself. You are not consciously aware of the fact, but it is deeply imprinted. It is there, hidden and unconscious. Because of this, psychologists say that everyone thinks that life in childhood was beautiful. And every country and every race thinks that somewhere in the past was the golden age. Somewhere in the past, life was blissful. Hindus call it Satyug, the age of truth. In the past, somewhere very, very past, before history began, everything was beautiful and blissful. There was no conflict, no strife, no violence. Only love prevailed. That was the golden age. Christians say that Adam and Eve lived in Eden, in the garden, in absolute innocence and blissfulness. Then came the fall. So the golden age is before the fall. Every country, every race, every religion believes somewhere in the past was the golden age. And the strangeness is this, that howsoever deeply in the past you move, this was always believed so. Always. One stone has been found in Mesopotamia, 6,000 years old. There is one inscription on it. If you read it, you will feel this is the editorial of today's morning newspaper. The inscription says, this age is the age of sin. Everything has gone wrong. The son doesn't believe the father. The wife doesn't believe in the husband. Darkness has set. And where are those days of the past, those golden days? 6,000-year-old inscription. Lao Tse says that in the days of past, in the days of the ancients, everything was beautiful. Then Tao prevailed. Then there was nothing wrong. And because there was nothing wrong, no one preached. Because there was nothing wrong to be changed, transformed. There was no priest, no preacher. There were no moral leaders. Because everything was so right. Lao Tse says in those days, old days, there was no religion. There was no need. Tao prevailed. Everyone was so religious that there was no need of any religion. There were not sages then, because there were no sinners. Everyone was such a sage, and so naturally, that no one was aware who is a sage and who is a sinner. Psychologists say that this past never existed. This past is just the deep memory within every individual of the womb. That existed. Really, there was Tao in the womb. And everything was beautiful. Everything was as it should be. Completely unaware of the world, the child was moving in bliss. The situation of a child in the womb is just the same as it is for Vishnu on his Sesnag. In the ocean of bliss, Hindus believe Vishnu is lying on his couch, serpent couch, floating. Really, that is the child's position in the womb. The child floats. The mother's womb is just like ocean. And you may be surprised. The water in which the child floats in the mother's womb has the same constituents as the ocean water. The similar, the same salts, everything. It is ocean water. Soothing. And the womb is always keeps the temperature, right temperature for the child. The mother may be shivering in cold. That makes no difference. For the child, it is always the same temperature in the womb. Warm, blissfully floating, with no worries, no anxieties, no responsibilities. Alone. He is not aware of the mother. Mother doesn't exist for him. This sanskar, this imprint is carried on by you. This is the basic reality, how you were before you entered society. And this will be the reality again when you go out of society and die. You will again be alone. And between these 2 points of loneliness, your life is filled with many events. But those events are accidental. Deep down you remain alone. Because that is your basic reality. On that aloneness, many things happen. You get married, you become 2, and then you get children, and you become many. Everything goes on happening, but just on the periphery. Deep stratum remains totally alone. That's your reality. You may call it your Atma, the essence. In deep solitude, this essence has to be recaptured. So when Buddha says that he has achieved Nirvana, really he has achieved this loneliness, this basic reality. When Mahavir says he has achieved the Kaivalya, the very word Kaivalya means loneliness, the alone. Just under the turmoil of events, that aloneness is there. It runs through you like a thread running in a mala. The beads are apparent. The thread is not apparent. But the beads are hanging on the thread. And beads are many and the thread is one. Really, mala is a symbol of this reality. Thread is the reality. And the beads are just the events which go on hanging on it. And unless you penetrate and come to the basic thread, you will be in anguish. You will be in suffering. You have a history. That history is the accidental. And you have a nature. That nature is non-historical. You are born on a certain date, to certain parents, in a certain society, in a certain age. You are educated in a certain way. Then you enter a particular profession. Then you fall in love with a woman. Then you get children. And this whole drama are beats. Events, history. But deep down, you are always alone. And if you forget yourself completely in the events, you have missed the very purpose of being here. Then you have lost yourself into the drama. And you have forgotten the actor who was not part of it, who was just playing the role. All these are roles. Because of this, we have not written histories. Really, it is very difficult to be certain about when Krishna was born, when he died, when Rama was born, when he died, and whether ever he was born or not, are just a myth. We have not written the history. And the reason is this. We are concerned with the thread and not with the beats. Really, in the religious world, Christ is the first historical person. But had he been born in India, he would not have been historical. Then we are always looking after the thread, and beats are irrelevant. But in the West, they are more oriented towards events, facts, temporal, than to the essential and the eternal. History is the drama. We say in India that Ramas, Krishnas, they go on being born in every age. They have been repeated many times before, and they will be repeated many times afterwards. So no need to carry on the records when they are born. That is irrelevant. What is their being, the thread, that is meaningful. So we are not concerned whether they were really historical persons or not. We are not concerned with outer things that happen to a being. We are concerned with the being itself, whether anything happens to it or not. When you move in solitude, you are moving to the thread. When you move into solitude, you are moving into nature. If you are really alone, not even thinking of others, for the first time you will feel the world that is of nature around you. You will become attuned to it. Now you are attuned to society. If you fall from this attunement from society, you will be attuned to nature. Then rains come. They are always coming. But you cannot understand the language of the rains. They don't say anything to you. They don't mean anything to you. At the most, some utilitarian thing that water is needed. So, some use is there, but you don't have any dialogue. You cannot understand the language of the rains. The rain has not a personality. But if you leave society for a time being, remain into aloneness, you will start feeling new phenomena. The rains will come and they will talk to you. Then you will feel the moods. Someday the rain is very angry, and someday it is very soothing and loving. Someday the whole sky is depressed, and someday it is dancing. Someday the sun rises as if without any will, forced, doing the work. And someday on its own. Now it is not a work, but a play. You will feel all the moods around you. The nature has its own language, but it is silent. And unless you are silent, you cannot understand it. The first layer of attunement is with society. The second layer of attunement is with nature. And the third layer, the deepest, is with Tao or Dharma. And that is the pure existence. Then the tree, then the rains, then the clouds, they are also left behind. Then just existence. Existence has no moods. Existence is always the same. Existence is always the same, always festive, exploding with energy. But first one has to move from the society to nature, and then from nature to existence. When you are attuned with existence, you are totally alone. And this aloneness is different from the aloneness of the child in the womb. Because child is alone, not really that he is alone, but he is unaware of anything else. He is enclosed into darkness. That's why he feels alone. The whole world exists around him. He is not aware of it. His aloneness is that of ignorance. When you become consciously silent, one with existence, your aloneness will not be surrounded by darkness. It will be surrounded by light. For the child in the womb, the world is not because he is unaware. For you, the world will not be because the world and you have become one. When you reach the deepest being, you are alone again. Because the ego is lost. The ego is given by society. It can persist a little even when you are in nature. It will not be so much as it is in society. When you move alone, your ego starts disappearing. Because it is always in relationship. Look at this phenomena. With every individual, your ego changes.